Because he pondered about the Quran and measured, how he measured and reckoned, then he measured and measured again, how he measured and measured, then he looked, then he frowned and made a face. Finally, he could not overcome his arrogance and turned away from the truth of the Quran. This, the Quran, he said, is nothing but magic learned from magicians. This is nothing but the word of man. Do you know what sakar is? How have you been informed what sakar is? It both destroys the whole body, leaving nothing, and does not cease to torment again. It scorches the skin of man. He presents man with plates. On them are 19, the opposite and inverse of 19.
In the verses, events that will happen in the future are mentioned, in which everyone who insults the Quran by calling them words of man or magic will be cast into sakar by Allah. So do not call these verses of the Quran as man-made words. This is the word of Allah. This means that if you do not believe, you will also be thrown into sakar. That is a method of threat for putting somebody straight. Our Lord is threatening those who do not believe in verses He revealed by hearing or reading. Believers who overrule halals and harams stated in the verses, and who act nonchalant to the orders of the religion of Islam, and perceive worship as an act of entertainment and disobey Allah's orders. People don't know what sakar is. How will this create fear, refrainment, and excitement in people? Allah the Almighty informs people of what it is, its attributions, and how it can be known, by verses and evidences, so that fear and excitement and a desire to avoid sakar are created.
Sakar does not leave anything in the middle. He does not ignore anything. It scorches the skin of man.
Then, O man, if you think that anything but Allah can prevent you from being thrown into sakar, then you are clearly mistaken. Scientists are preparing special clothing that is flame-proof and protects people from cosmic radiation and cold. However, they should not be mistaken that they can avoid being burned in sakar with any product they invent. Nothing human-made can protect from burning in sakar, because it is such an ember that burns everything with nobody can be saved. These statements should terrify those who laugh at these intimidations of Allah and think they will save themselves from sakar. After these, what sakar is has been introduced to the people with the verse. In other words, ways to find out what it is in the world are pointed. Here, neither the day of judgment nor the hereafter is introduced. On this account, when hell is revealed on the day of judgment, people will see its reality with their very own eyes and know what the real hell is. In the hereafter, people will know hell with experience, namely, it is the truth to be thrown there as they pass through as-sirat and are directed to hell. The verse lists the evidence in the world for people to explain what hell is. Loch, as the root word of lawaha, means getting thirsty, sun's fever, skin dehydration, lightning, revealance, and being visualized. Mankind will observe the attributions of Sakar in this world and will understand what it is through these signs. Sakar reveals the heat of the sun and makes people thirsty, to the extent that it obviously destroys the skin, burns it, and makes it black. What is Sakar that causes these events? It is the sun, which is a star. The sun makes people thirsty with its own heat. And destroys the skin with thirst. It darkens the skin of the body by burning it with ultraviolet rays. With this observation, it is easily understood that Sakar is the sun. This is a way that everyone can see and understand with simple observation. It is a clear method for humans. But apart from these ways, there are other methods to understand Sakar scientifically.
Whoever says the Quran is the word of a human being, I will soon make him lean against Sakar. Do you know what Sakar is? It does not keep in the middle, nor does it destroy. He is the one who makes marvelous signs for man, thirsty, seen from afar, an indicator.
That Sakar presents extraordinary scenes, screens, and signs to mankind. In a book revealed 14 centuries ago, these plates of Sakar, which is a fireplace, are mentioned. In the 21st century, we watch these plates of the sun that are manifested for us to see with telescopes. Was it possible for a person to see these 1400 years ago? Never. The Quran is indeed the word of Allah. The Quran out-talks those who call the verses as human-made with this verse. The Quran, however, also makes the next move for them by truly saying, lightning will strike for Sakar to appear and introduce himself in the verse. Who would have known that lightning flashed in the blazing sun 1400 years ago? Anyone but Allah? The Quran is indeed the word of Allah the Almighty. The next incredible and shocking blow is struck with the verse, The Quran speaks of these plates. Who would see them from a distance of 150 million kilometers from Earth to the Sun and talk about it in his book 1400 years ago? How do you think these verses are human words? Hopefully, those who call the verses of the Quran as human words though being the word of Allah, will give up their claims after this documentary. The Quran is undoubtedly the word of Allah. What have you told you what Sakar is? These signs and proofs inform us that Sakar is a sun.
No, by the moon, by the night that goes round and round, by the dawning morning. Hell is one of the greatest calamities. It is a warning for mankind. It is a warning for those of you who wish to go forward or remain behind.
Allah the Almighty commands, the sun is one of the greatest signs of hell. It is a frightening thing that reminds man of hell.